Recording for later. And welcome to Thursday morning gift call. I'm really sorry. I wonder what it is about these calls that kind of just have you have to. And let's begin with that. Kind of keep accommodating the time. And do you hear anything in the background, or is it okay? Can you hear me all clear? Awesome. Thank you. Okay, cool. Okay. So hello, people. Official good morning. And we're talking about these energies that keep you stuck and looks like I'm stuck. Damn it. What's right about this? Okay, I guess it is the camera, which we will have to do without today. Is this still okay? Okay, we will do this. All right, I think this is good. So let's begin. And so when you begin to make changes in your life, when you begin to ask for greater, and stuff like this happens, you know, things go a little awry, and there are people waiting for you, and you're still not online, and then your camera goes off. This is just one example, but interestingly, you know, you ask for new things. So today I wanted to talk about, I've been doing these sessions with people last week, and interestingly, there's a common theme that has been showing up, which is this ask God, this you ask for new things, and then suddenly things become a little awkward. They start going awry. Chaos will show up, and you go into the wrongness of, damn it, I'm doing something wrong. Something's not working for me. कुछ भी ठीक से नहीं हो रहा है, you know, और ये क्या हो रहा है? And why am I so wrong? And why does all that happen to me? And I'm not even following my passion. I'm not creating the life I want to create. I'm like, how many of you have actually been asking for change? Okay, hands up if you've been asking for change. Okay, cool. I see a couple of hands up here. Yay, more hands up on the chat. And then it doesn't show up the way you think it should. Obviously, because you're not feeling as lively. Things, जिसको हम हिंदी में कहते हैं गड़बड़ हो रही है ना? I don't know how to translate that into English. Like literally, things not working out, a little bit here, a little bit there, and then you start going into the wrongness of it. So if you have been asking for change, has it been showing up for you? Yes or no? So one hand up.
Not always. Yes. Not always.
Not always. Not always. Okay.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And who is
not
that
in
talking?
Certain areas.
Not in certain areas. Okay. Who else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Is it showing up for you? Okay.
Hi,
now
Shweta.
Hi, Zora.
How are you?
I'm good.
Shweta, what I have in my awareness, sometimes it shows up instant and sometimes it takes times also.
Yes.
Then I relate to it. Oh, this thing I was asked, I need a change. It happened just now. After a couple of weeks, after a couple of weeks, after a month, that it comes into my awareness.
Okay, that's amazing. And what about the others? So is it happening everywhere, all the areas of your life? Are there some areas that you think they're not working, or are you going into the? So I get what you guys are saying, but this is what I'm inviting you to look at. Okay, now you missed one element there. Sometimes it's always showing up. By the way, when you ask for it, it always shows up. But if it is not showing up in the way you decided it should, you thought it would. It's like, oh, I asked for a relationship, or I asked for this X amount of money, but oh my God, it hasn't shown up. I've been doing these tools for 6, no 7, no 8, no 2 years. It hasn't shown up yet. What did you just do? It's everything's all right, nothing's working, I'm feeling tired, oh, my relationships are not working. When you're thinking these thoughts, what are you doing with your asks? Now connect it to your ask and see how all of these thoughts are just canceling your asks. Have you ever noticed? So you ask for something, and then if it doesn't show up the way you think it would, in the time frame you thought it would, and it's so non-cognitive, it is so automatic that we don't even pause to look at, hey, ask this question. And I invite you all who just said, no, it doesn't. Some places it does. Just ne bhi ye kaha tha. Hai. And I know some people didn't speak it out, but if this is going on for you also, please look at it and ask, look at all that garbad, look at all that messed up thing that you think is going on for you, where you feel I asked for it, not showing, something's wrong with blah, blah, all that energy, and ask, okay, cool, just pause. And before that, I invite you to expand out. You know the expand out tool? Ask your being to expand. Step out of your body. Keep expanding. Become bigger than the universe. So what energy, space, consciousness, choice can you be to be the infinite being you truly be? Are you an infinite being, or are you just this body that is asking for the change, that's asking for these things to sort out, that's asking for a great relationship or more money, or, you know, things to work out the way you want them to? Are you a body, just a body, or are you an infinite being? Now be that energy space of infinite being. Just ask and you shall receive. And from that space, ask, is this the change that I asked for showing up in a totally different way than I thought it would? Is it? Is it? Could it be the change that I've been asking for showing up in a totally different way? Oh my God. Yes, it is. But just because I have a point of view that it's messed up, just because I'm slightly uncomfortable and I'm a princess and I don't want to be uncomfortable, I think something's wrong. And the moment you think something's wrong, guess what shows up? It gets wrong. So everywhere you decided that it is wrong, it's messed up, you can't handle it, it's not what you're asking for, will you destroy and unclear all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, online, shows, boys and beyonds, because that is what keeps you stuck in that limitation, that thing you're calling a limitation, that thing that you're calling something that you can't handle, you can't change. That is that. And there's this thing called beyonds, we'll just talk about in Access. And if you've done an Access bars class, you know what beyonds are. We'll talk a little about that. So does that make sense? What did you get when you asked, is this the change that I've been asking for showing up in a totally different way than I thought it would? Yes. Is it? Yeah, yeah. Could it be? Surprise, surprise. Right? And I see some people smiling, some are pondering, some are going, what is she talking about? So okay, stay with it. And really, whenever you begin to go into the wrongness of things, so we all have been asking for change, particularly because of all the things that have been going on in the last 1.5 years. Things have become a little wonky, but also look at, things are changing so fast. Could it be the change that you are asking for? You know, because with our points of views, with our limited perception, because when you make ourselves as small as this body, we look at a situation as not working out. But with that, just with that point of view, it's not going to work out. So look at it. Look at what's going on for you. Everywhere you're going into the wrongness of it. Everywhere you're going into. It could be like the worst thing happening to you right now. It could be something that, you know, you've put up for a long time and now it's time to change and you're finally ready to give up. Don't, please don't. Or like, I know, you know, some of you might have started your businesses again and it might be showing up in a totally different way. And it might seem like a wrongness. It might seem like something's not okay. But if you change your point of view around it and you were willing to expand out and look at it from that point of view and say, okay, what's really going on? You know, ask a question. So beyond is something, and if you guys have questions, please stop me and ask a question, do that. So go to.
Shweta, I want to say something.
Yes, Sadhna.
Yeah, if it's okay with you now, I can say it now.
Go for it.
Okay. So what I want to say is that, yes, I get that it could be the change we are asking for, or it could also be the change that we are not asking for, but may be good for us. So sometimes we may not ask for it.
Yes.
You know? But I think we should go with the flow and see where that goes, because that change is what we need, even if we don't ask for it. And if we accept and embrace that change, it could lead us to a better.
So I remember we had this conversation in the last call also, a similar conversation. And I'm glad you brought it up towards the beginning of the call. I understand what you're saying, but sometimes when you're talking about going with the flow, it becomes easy to, there's a subtle difference there. And if I can, I wonder if I can bring it forth. When we tend to go with the flow, we put up with a lot of things that we're not okay with, some things that we are asking for, like we look at things and we go, for example, let's say I have a money situation, in the sense that I have a job, I have some work that's going on, but I'm not entirely satisfied with it. I'm just giving you my example. It could be different for different people. And I'll say, okay, right now, I'll have excuses and justifications of why it has to stay the way it is right now, why I don't want to ask for more, why. So this could also be going with the flow. Now, you could be talking about either something like this, or you could be talking about something where you have already asked for a greater reality, maybe greater money flows, greater job experience, greater work, greater people showing up in my life in terms of my work and relationships. And then if something shows up, which seems like an obstacle or seems like a limitation, and I go, okay, this might not be what I think it is. And what is this? So there's a very subtle difference in going with the flow, because when you're going with the flow, sometimes you forget to ask for greater. So I would just invite you to whatever situation, because in a generalized context, you really can't see what you're talking about. So whatever it is that you're talking about, if you have already asked for greater and then something shows up, then if you're talking about going with the flow, and then it's like, okay, which means I'm going to go to question. But if you're talking about going with the flow means being okay.
No, I meant asking and then something different showing up. I mean,
yes. So that's a crucial difference. Yes.
Yeah. Like if you are asking for an increment and you get laid off.
Yes.
So you did ask for a change and you wanted a better, you wanted an increment, and here you got laid off or you lost your job or whatever. And then maybe at that point we don't realize, but maybe your next job will be greater, or maybe you get into a business or something. So you have to also know that when you ask, maybe what you ask for or something else, both are good. That's all.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I hope you understood the difference that I was trying to put across.
Yeah, I did.
Because I've had people who attended the money workbook and then turned around and actually called up and said, this is the difference. And I've seen people who got laid off from their jobs and are very happy, laid back with, oh, I have a fixed deposit and the money is coming. And even if and they're not even taking an effort to move ahead. It's like, ho gaya, making yourself the victim. And there are people who were worried about quitting their jobs, and then they went ahead and asked for more. And not only did they get a better work environment, but also what they continue to receiving from the previous thing. So that's a crucial difference of you not wanting to settle for less. Okay, so now I want to come to this thing, the energy that we call the beyond. And recently we were facilitating a bars class, and it just drew my attention. Was like, how many beyonds do you actually create in your life? And if you actually go to your bars manual, it has this explanation of when it explains the clearing statement of access consciousness, which is right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So what are the beyonds? What are they? And these are all the energies that we describe as beyond belief, beyond imagination, beyond expectation, beyond fathoming, beyond whatever. Things that will stop you dead in your tracks. Like, for example, a big bill shows up and you are, oh my God, how am I going to pay this? Or, you hear about a trauma, somebody meeting with an accident or something bad happening to somebody, and you immediately go into that thing of, oh, this shouldn't happen to me. Or you see people going through that when they've had a trauma thing happening in their life. And the shock trauma thing does not only have to be physical, it could be a mental thing in terms of, a relationship going bad, a breakup, or somebody losing their job and the money flow stopping. It could be anything. We don't know what that is. And these could be subtle energies also, where we decide, for example, let's take this example of, what Sadhana was just talking about, where You go, oh, this has happened to me. I've been laid off. Now what do I do? And if you go into a beyond that there's nothing more I can do, I had this job for so long, and oh my God, you're actually stopping yourself in a beyond. So if you start to look at, these are like these things that I just spoke about as a beyond are significant, but there are small little things, like somebody talking, like a best friend being mean to you, for example. They might be going through a bad day, but if they talk badly to you once and you go, oh, how could she do that to me? I have done that. How could they be this with me? And then you have your own story around how they did, what really happened. None of which could, I mean, it could all just be a fantasy thing. But you've just created a small little beyond in your life where, oh my God, that's beyond belief. Your best friend talking to you like that. Oh, my parents behaving like that with me. Oh, my children talking to me like that. Oh, my children doing this. Whatever. But when you go into a beyond without even realizing, you're just stopping everything that could contribute to you because you're in the stuck zone. You've just drawn yourself into this space which is beyond receiving. Does that make sense? So how many beyonds do you have, or have you bought into, or have you invented that are stopping you from receiving, that are stopping you from asking, that are stopping you from being who you truly be, and everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate all? Yeah? Want me to run the clearing statement? Right and wrong, good and bad, fun, pop, online, shows, boys and beyond. So just start to look at how many beyonds have you created that are actually not what you think it is, just based on an assumption, based on what you think is reality, based on what body expand out and look at. Gone, battery gone. My daughter's sharing these AirPods with me, and I don't know when it's charged and when it's not charged. Could this be a beyond? I wonder. Okay, cool. My AirPods, and every time I want to use them, they're discharged. How dare they do this to me?
Can't hear you, sorry.
Can you not hear me? Now?
Yes, yes, we can.
See, I went into
now, yes.
Clear.
the moment I went into a beyond, you stopped hearing me. That's what happens. So I was saying, like, you know, like you can go, oh my God, every time I want to do a call, somebody's used my headphones, somebody's taken my cosmetics. That's always happening to me. I want to dress up and my cosmetics are gone from my table. And I'm like, where did they go? Oh, it's in my daughter's bathroom or, you know, dress up. So there are these little things in our daily lives where we react and... Nahi? Can't hear? Can hear, can't hear?
We can hear you.
You audible.
Loud and clear.
Okay, so what I was saying was that notice your reactions. Every time you're going into a reaction, could it be possible that you're creating a beyond?
Yes, can hear you now.
So the whole clearing statement for the beyond is all the beyonds, creating the beyond, eternally beyond, keeping you captive, will you destroy and uncreate all?
Yes.
Right? Good and bad, pot and pock, online shows, boys and beyonds. One more time. Let's run this a few times and see what changes. All the beyonds, creating the eternal beyond, keeping you captive, will you destroy and uncreate all?
Yes, please.
Wrong and bad, pot and pock, online shows, boys and beyonds. All the beyonds, creating the eternally beyond, keeping you captive, will you destroy and uncreate all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, online shows, boys and beyonds. So all the beyonds, creating the eternally beyond, keeping you captive, will you destroy and uncreate all?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, online shows, boys and beyonds. And how many other people's beyonds are you aware of? Like other people in your life, if they can't receive and they tell you what's wrong with you, they tell you how you're not, you know, you're working so hard, but this thing that you're doing is not paying off. Why the hell are you doing it anyway? Why are you wasting so much money? Why are you going out right now? It's time for you to be home. Why are you not married at this age? Why are you not this? Why are you not that? Blah, blah. But when people I think people think it is their right to express an opinion, which is one of the funniest things I've seen. Nobody's asking for your opinion, but people will come and express an opinion, or they will have an opinion and they will want you to live by their opinion.
But they have their own set of beyonds, their set of limitations. And when they are projecting that on you, you are also buying into their limitations. You're buying into their beliefs about themselves, their beliefs about you, their beyonds where they can't receive, where they think something's not possible. And when you're aware of that, and if you're not in question, then it's so easy to go into the wrongness of you. So how many of you are aware of other people's beyonds, other people's realities, other people's limitations, their lies, or what's possible, what's not possible, more or what's not possible? So you might as well just live where you're living in that beyond, even if it's in the cesspool of this reality, it's fine. At least you have this. How many people tell you, you're not grateful? At least you have this. Look at those people. They don't have that. You're like ungrateful. And you're like, yeah, they're right. I should be more grateful. I should be more thankful. I should put up with all of this shit, because at least I have shit to go to. Everything that is if you destroy and create on. Right, on good, bad, POD POC, online shows, boys and beyond. So please, the idea of doing these calls is I'd really like you to see where you're stopping yourselves. I'd like you to see where you have these gifts and capacities that you're not believing you have. Because it doesn't look like anything that other people can receive. It doesn't look like anything that someone else can tell you this is great about you, because they can't perceive it. They can't receive it. So are you waiting for other people to come and tell you this is great about you, so go ahead and do it and buck you up and, give you a pat on the back or validate you? That's not happening. If you've been waiting for that, it's high time you stopped and started creating your future. And these calls are about creating a future. So if you are interested in creating a future, you've got to stop buying into these lies. You've got to stop buying into limitations. You've got to stop buying into the beyonds. Because all of those beyonds are created only because you align and agree with somebody's points of view, or you resist and react to them. So even if you're going, nahi, ye tumhare liye theek hoga, mere liye nahi hai, you are resisting and reacting to it. And why would you resist and react to something unless you believed that that was true? So everywhere you're aligning and agreeing, or resisting and reacting to other people's points of views that are keeping you in the beyonds, rather than asking for a greater future, rather than asking for a reality beyond this reality, will you destroy and uncreate all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD POC, online shows, boys and beyond. So what would you like your life to look like, really? Have you paid attention to that question lately? Have you asked, okay, cool, things have changed. Maybe when I was asking like 6 days ago, what am I asking for now? Today, has it changed? Today, am I asking for greater, even greater than what I was asking for yesterday? What are you asking for? Do you know what you're asking for? And if not, then please take the time to sit down and jot at least 3 elements of what you ask your life to be. And these don't have to be like, I would like to have a BMW or a Mercedes, and I would like to have a, and it could include those things as well. But energetically, what would you like your life to be like? And yes, if that includes money and that includes the Mercedes, great. But if you're asking only for that, then that's not a greater future. Yeah, that of course is a greater car, greater house. But what is the future you're asking for? Which could be way beyond all of these things and could include these things too. Does that make sense? So please start to look at, what am I asking for? Are you clear with what you're asking for? Or are you just buying into what other people are telling you is possible? What other people are telling you, ye ho sakta hai, ye nahi ho sakta hai, chhod do. Socho hi mat, baat hi mat karo. And people might not directly say that to you. They might ignore you. They might, when you bring up an idea, they might put you down. They might think that it's stupid and silly. They might laugh at you, at what you're doing, what you're choosing. And people have these weird reactions to stuff. And if you react to their reactions, then you're buying into the beyond. So all the reactions that you have that are making you resist, react to what people are saying, believing, they're beyonds. And everywhere you're going into a beyond because of that reaction to the beyond, other people's beyonds, will you destroy and create all? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD POC, online shows, boys and beyonds. So I hope it's wrecked your brains enough. I hope that it is juggled your points of views enough. Yes, yes, please.
So when I say something to somebody, and if that is a beyond for them, then if I get, sort of align to what they are saying, then I get into a beyond, which is my own beyond. I don't know if I'm clear, but I'm just saying, when I say something and someone tells me, don't be silly, that's not possible.
Yeah.
So I go into, so that is a beyond for somebody else.
Yes.
Okay. So if I go into that at that moment,
No, you got muted. You said, if I go into that, you're muted.
Fall in the middle. Okay. So sometimes I know that I'm going into I'm sort of acquiring someone else's beyond, you know, and that somehow always stops me in my track, because I go again into doubting my own creations, or doubting what I am asking for.
Yes.
So yes, thank you for this.
This is actually a very interesting awareness that you shared. And if it's a person that's close to you, if it's a person that you trust, if it's a relationship that you're in, or a great friend, you know, or maybe your spouse, your children, it's easier to believe what they're saying, because you made someone else's point of view more valuable than your own creation or your own knowing of what is possible. So that is why they say don't share. Don't even share with, like, ask a question before you share with someone. But you know, like, I had this habit, and I really have had this habit of going and sharing with my partner about everything. Oh, because, oh my God, I love you, and so we'll share. But you're not being kind to someone when they can't receive what you know is possible, what you are aware of as a possibility. You know, it's not kindness to them, it's not kindness to you, and it is not kindness to creating a future that maybe you and that person can create together. And
see, I'm sorry, can I just share something here with the same point? Yeah. It's like something happened yesterday at my workplace, and I was aware of everyone there, the staff, the clients, everyone going into a beyond.
Yeah.
You know, and I also immediately went into that beyond. I made it my own. And, you know, sitting down later and thinking about it, and, you know, thrashing the whole thing made me realize that half the fears were not mine.
Yes.
You know, so it's not that someone is telling me, it's this reality.
You mute it again. Are you there? Renu?
Sorry, someone was calling me and I had to take that call to just tell them that I'll call them back.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know if I'm being clear about what what's happening in my head, but when I say that, I also buy into a beyond of this reality. There are so many things that the world says, this reality says, and then yes, like you're saying, that you go into sharing with somebody, or you trust somebody, or it's your spouse or your child or your staff member, and at that time it's very difficult for me sometimes to still stand by what I believe.
Yeah.
So that's my question, is that what do I do in a situation like that?
What I personally think is that we forget to expand out. In that moment, we become this body, we become part of this reality. We become, you remember we ran a clearing on this call once, which is about having a toe in this reality, a finger in this reality, and a pulse in this reality.
Yeah.
Right. So the clearing is what energy, it goes like, what energy, space, consciousness, choice. No, what jails am I using to create the dominance of E = MC square to have a toe in this reality, a finger in this reality, and a pulse in this reality? That is not allowing me to choose greater and beyond this reality with total ease. Everything that is right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pop, line, shows, boys and beyond, destroy and create, of course. But it is about constantly wanting to be somehow, see, again, it's not a non-cognitive point of view, because we've grown up with that, of trying to fit in, trying to be, so that, you know, we are one. So even if we don't think we are part of this reality, somewhere with some point of view, maybe you don't know what that point of view is. So whatever that point of view is, you could actually go, okay, whatever that point of view is that's making me align and agree with this reality, destroy and uncreate it all. But for that, you have to be present and not go into the beyond. If you've already gone into the beyond, then from that space of the beyond, you won't be able to see what's really going on. And we all go through it at some, because there is something in our life where we're vested in the outcome. So how many of you are vested in the outcome of what it should look like? And again, it is your point of view, what it should look like. What if whatever's happening at your workplace right now is the change you've been asking for? Could you consider that even just for a moment? Because somewhere you are going into the wrongness of it. That's why it's taking you in that beyond. So if you were willing to look at it from a different point of view of, oh, could it be the change I'm asking for showing up in a totally different way than I thought it would? And you are, so many of us ask for such big changes, but if there's just a little turmoil, we get upset, we get worried, we go into a beyond. So what if you've been asking for great changes, and for those great changes to occur, it has to go through that process of, reshuffling, rejuggling, and changing things. You saying something?
I said the quantum entanglements are moving, and I know that. I'm aware of that. I know that this has to happen, so that I don't even want to make it solid by saying it has to happen. But I know that things are shifting and changing in every aspect of my life at the moment,
Yeah.
And I believe that, and when I like, one of the qualities of a beyond is that it takes you away from the present moment. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, so one of the things about a beyond is that it takes you away from being present. Thank you for that. And if you're not present, then you wouldn't remember to ask a question. You wouldn't remember to ask for a different possibility. You wouldn't remember, because that's the job of a beyond. It's doing its job. It is going to take you in a place where you buy into this reality as real, where you buy into the limitations as real, where you believe that, oh, shit is happening to me. But what if it's not that? What if you could receive from this too if you were in allowance? And somebody asked a question on allowance. I'm sorry, I forgot about it on the group we posted. Duhi had asked a question, but I'm not sure if she's here. So this is what allowance is. You being willing to see things from every possible perspective. So what different perspective can you see what's going on from that would allow you to see that it is a contribution, not a problem? Like if you trust that the universe has your back, will it give you something you can't handle? Will it give you something that you're not asking for as a trauma drama thing? Will it give you something that is going to destroy your future? No, we are the ones that destroy our future. The universe doesn't. Trust that. So if you don't go into the beyond, then what could be possible? If you were willing to just move back, become the infinite being, and see it from that point of view and say, okay, cool, what's going on and how can I handle this? Now notice that it's not that you need to move back to that infinite space, being space, and not ask for any action step. Maybe you need to take an action there. But if you're asking from the space of a beyond, कि मैं क्या करूं, कि मैं नहीं कर सकती, कि मैं कर सकती हूं, कि हो सकता है, कि नहीं हो सकता, it's possible, not possible, should I do it, can I do it? You're already reacting.
I did that. I took the action that was required, and I was not upset. It was perfectly fine. But I'm just thinking of how I go into a beyond when I buy someone else's beyond, and when what I'm asking for creates a beyond for someone else. I think that is what it got clear for me. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. So everywhere that you're going into beyonds, guys, everywhere you're reacting, resisting, everywhere you're making it significant, everywhere you're vested in the outcome that takes you in the beyond, that's keeping you captive. Revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, announce, destroy, and uncreate it all. Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all nine shows, boys and beyonds. That's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. In case you haven't heard it before, you can go to theclearingstatement.com where Dr. Dane here, who is the co-founder of Access Consciousness, explains it beautifully. So any other questions? Because this is something that was playing on my mind since we facilitated the bars class last weekend, and I wanted to bring it forth on these calls. Really, and after facilitating these sessions, by the way, I still have some spots for next week in case any of you know somebody who's asking for a session. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, so these are at a really discounted price. Like I think I'm doing it at 1/4 the price that I do it at. So reach out to me if you want to book an SOP session, a symphony session, or a facilitation session, and we'll take it from there. But really also start to look at where you're going into a beyond. Is that really creating your future? What else can you be and do there? And what else is possible if you did not buy into anything that's happening around you as an upset or a turmoil as real? It's not real. Trust me, it's not real. And you can change it. You're the one who can change it. No one else can. So what action step can you take today that will take you out of that beyond the beyond, into an ever expanding creative space of you being the infinite being and choosing that which works for you and that which creates the earth and the planet as greater. And when you're choosing that, everything around you, everyone around you receives too, well, that's a bonus. So, but it's up to them whether they want to receive or not. Okay. So thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with my net challenges today and time challenges today and what else is possible. I'll see you again next Thursday. Bye.
Thank you.